Overcoming objections is not as hard as you may think to secure a direct client. Let's walk through it. Hi, AGENTISTAs. I'm Erica Beauvais, and I'm an executive closing agent and a real estate broker in Chicago. And in today's video, I wanted to discuss how to overcome objections and what is looked at as the most common objection you probably would have when securing a direct client. And the number one objection that you may hear, and I really wouldn't call it an objection, I would just call it maybe a challenge, or even the terminology, I just call it not right now. Like the client is not ready to, proceed forward with securing your services for their company, not at this moment, not right now. But nevertheless, everyone understands the terminology challenge or objections. So I'll call it objection. But to overcome a major objection, and the number one objection that you may hear as an executive closing agent promoting your business to a direct client to secure and be assigned to their closings, is we currently are utilizing in-house resources, meaning a lot of escrow, title, banking, and lenders, as well as attorneys, will use their own full-time staff and have them obtain a notary commission in the state where they reside, in the state that they work, and they will utilize them in their closings. So they will be the closing agent in essence. So that's can be a little bit hard to overcome as an objection. And I really wouldn't banter back and forth with the client, because that's a financial incentive for them. Because, if you think about it, the more work that an employee does, that's less expenses that you have to pay as an employer, right? You don't have to hire an outside consultant. You don't have to hire additional staff. So it all makes sense, So you got to look at it in that terminology or in that way. And I want to walk through an exercise with you. It's a little bit simpler than you think in order to secure those type of clients. Actually, those are my best clients. And those type of clients are primarily based in the state that you are residing and have your notary commission. Meaning, like here in Chicago, I reside in Illinois. So those are the clients that would be headquartered here in Chicago, meaning they have office locations here, they're based here, their main headquarters is in Chicago. So typically those clients will have and utilize their own employees and ask them to get a notary commission. So it's kind of hard to beat that objection or overcome that challenge. I would say it's harder to overcome that challenge because it's a financial incentive involved. But I'll walk through an example with you, and then I will show you what you can do in order to secure those type of clients. And those are my best clients as far as rates are concerned. In the prior video, if you looked at my last video I just posted with my June 2021 income, you'll see that I showed escrow and title, my rates for escrow and title clients in there around $299, $301. Those are my highest rates by client type, because a lot of those clients are based here in Chicago. Again, I get 60% of my business comes from direct clients that are outside of Illinois, meaning their main headquarters is located outside of Illinois. But 40% are located here in Illinois. And they tell me this all the time when I find a new client to propose my services to, that they currently are using in-house resources. And I tell them, no problem, I understand. That's perfectly understandable. So I make them feel comfortable to let them know I understand the nature of business in general. I understand the nature of their business. So why wouldn't they want to utilize their own resources? But once I walk through this example, then I can show you what you can say and how to say it to secure those type of clients. So let me share my screen right now. This is just a simple Excel example, and you'll see a direct client that uses in-house notaries. So let's say that the client, let's say it's an escrow company. So the escrow company currently employs an escrow processor. They will ask that escrow processor to obtain their notary commission so that they can perform their closings. So let's say, okay, they have 10 closings a week at 52 weeks a year, because it's 52 weeks in a year. So that's 520 closings that they perform. So this is just a basic example. I'm just doing this so we can kind of get an understanding. And the employee base salary, and that's just being an escrow processor, is like $25,000 a year, right? Plus, they'll give them an additional $10,000 to perform closings within that one current location that they're, let's say their main headquarters that they're based at, that one address. So that's $35,000 total base employee salary. Okay, so let's take, on the other hand, if I propose my business, my closing services to them, and they secured me as an independent executive closing agent, my services, they would be paying me my rate of $200 per closing times 520 closings a year. That means just that one client, I'm receiving a total profit, total revenue of $104,000. Just one client. If I did 10 closings in their office every week for a year. So 10 closings is about 2 closings a day, if you just want to say Monday through Friday. So 1 closing in the morning, and I'll come back to do another closing in the afternoon. That's a 6-figure salary. I mean, of course, this is before taxes, but it's still a 6-figure salary, right? So let's take the difference. $104,000, what they would have paid me if they secure me as their closing agent and assign me to their closing for that one location, compared to what they are paying their employee. $35,000 minus $104,000. Well, really $104,000 minus $35,000. So since they're not securing my services, they're saving they're saving $69,000. So that's the difference between $104,000 and $35,000. So let's say, so just not utilizing my services as an independent executive closing agent, they are saving nearly $70,000 a year. So let's say this particular company, this particular client has 10 or 15 locations in the state of Illinois. So it could be anywhere across Chicagoland or downstate or Illinois, anywhere within the state of Illinois. They have 10 locations. So $69,000 times, I'm sorry, 15 locations. $69,000 times 15 locations is $1,035,000. So that's a lot of savings. You see, that's in the millions at that point. This is why they would prefer to use their in-house notaries, because the savings, they don't have to worry about paying anyone outside of the company or even getting another employee, like adding to their staff. So this is what you say. These are my best clients, because when they tell you this, that we're currently using in-house notaries, just say, I definitely understand. I understand the nature of your business. but I would love for you to keep me in mind for any future changes to your staff's retention. And they understand what retention means. So retention may be, let's say an employee quits, they may leave, they may get fired. So those are three retention, because retention is basically retaining your employees. So if they leave, you're not retaining them any longer. If they quit, well, the leave is the same thing as quit, but you know what I mean. So if they leave or quit or get fired, then, they're not there any longer. So that means their employee count goes down, their staff count goes down. So they may need someone until they can either regain a new employee to take over their duties, take over their position, or something else, or they may shift resources around. So there may be understaffed. So that goes into my next point that you can bring up to them. So whether it's due to employee retention, or you may be understaffed, or that employee, meaning that employee may be, or employees may be working on other projects, so they can't always be available to go to closings. Also, since I'm available, I can travel anywhere within the state of Illinois. So at any time, day, evening, night, weekends, it doesn't matter. Because sometimes employees, they just want to stay in the office, right? I mean, think about it. If you have your borrowers, your customers coming in-house to go through their closing, to finalize all their closing, then they would just primarily want to do the work at the company location. They don't want to go to the borrower's home, the customer's home, and perform the closing. So that gives us an advantage because we can do that. That's the primary reason, or the primary attribute that we need to have as executive closing agents, because we're flexible. We can travel anywhere at any time. So that's the perk of them working with us. So you have to say that to them, like give them different scenarios where they may have to utilize, or they would need to probably consider utilizing an independent executive closing agent. So once you say those things and kind of break it down to them, but still come out very professional, very nice, very understanding, then they'll say, you know what, you might be right. I may need to consider utilizing them, being open to that. So all you have to say after that is, well, I would love you again to keep me in mind. Would you mind if I follow up with you within the next couple of months or so, 30 to 60 days out, I can follow up with you. And then they say, oh, definitely. So then what you do is put that on your calendar to call them back in 30 to 60 days. And typically they will call you back faster than you would call them, or they will call you faster than you would call and touch bases back with them. So then they'll say, well, you know what? Something just happened. Our employee, we have a signing at 7 p.m. The customer, the borrower can't make it to the office. They would like for us to come to their home, but the employee is busy. She had an emergency. I know this is last minute. I know I'm calling you at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or whatever. Can you please, perform the closing? I mean, or would you be available to perform it? And then you're like, yes. So when you get those calls from them, please take those calls. Do not discard those calls from them. And let them know too, you're available. They can call you, they can text you, anything. You're available to come at the last minute. It doesn't matter. When you say it like that to them, then they will feel so comfortable calling you, because it's like, oh, wow, she just was so nice about it. She was so professional. She gave scenarios that I didn't even think of that could happen at any given moment, because that's the nature of business. Things change all the time in business. So that would really captivate their attention, and that's what you want. So then once they call you back and they say that, take the closing, take it, because then they will not only pay your rate, they'll say, or you can even bring up your rate. You can say, well, my rate is normally $200, and they'll say, well, no problem. We'll definitely pay that, and even more. We'll give you an extra $50 because we know that we're calling you at the last minute to perform a closing. So think about it. Wouldn't you take that? So that means your rate just went from 200 to 250. Those are my best clients because they will actually pay you even more. And because you were so understanding, you took you accepted their call when they called you at the last minute. Because before, they basically kind of turned you down a little bit, So a lot of people take that to heart. They take that to mean the word no. And that's what I meant when I opened up the video or proceeded to talk about this in this video. To me, I don't hear the word no. I may hear not right now, but the word is they never say the word no. They may just say not right now. So you got to take it like that too. And remember, the table is always turning. What goes up must always come back down. Don't worry about that one particular client or one contact. And also in the course, Book Solid System, and if you would like to take the course, it can be found on agentista.com if you'd like to sign up. I also give you a contact list. It's 1,000+ master contact list plus an additional 250 contact lists each month starting in July. I give you several contacts at one company typically. So that means I may give you 10 escrow officers, 10 title officers, or other contacts like CEOs, presidents at one, or VP of closing at one company. So that means call them, because I've noticed too, one contact at the same company may say a totally different thing, may give me a totally different response than another contact at the same company. That's why I say you just don't let one contact, one person get you frazzled. Just go on to the next, table that conversation or follow back up with that one contact in the future. And honestly, the only thing you got to do is sit back and wait, because they will call you faster than you would get a chance to contact them back again. Believe me. And when they contact you, you're going to get your rate and more. So that was my tip for today, or how I kind of explain how you overcome challenges. That would be primarily the main challenge the main obstacle you would possibly hear that you would have to kind of get through, because that's something that they do. I mean, we can't really beat that. You would do it too, so you have to kind of put yourself in their shoes, and you just sit back and think about different scenarios that you can give them, so that they can kind of really sit back and think about that. Like anything can happen. And if anything happens where you can utilize my resources, I'm a phone call away. If you say it like that, believe me, you broke the ice. And that's what they're looking for. They want to feel comfortable calling you, even if they turned you down in that one moment. Or didn't utilize your services. I would say that they didn't utilize your services in that one moment. That doesn't mean it's a no. Just, you got to be patient in this business. Just wait. And again, just move on to the next person. There's plenty of contacts that I provide in the course. Just move on. It's not actually a big deal. And just wait. Just table that and write down the information, the time and the date that you spoke to them. And believe me, they will call you faster than you would even call them back to check in on them. So that was kind of a tip and kind of like an objection you may hear commonly. So if you have any questions about today's topic, please leave that in the comment section. Any questions about the course as well, please leave that in the comment section, and look forward to my next video. And again, happy closing. Bye.